You're tuning into The Josh Bernstein Show, where liberalism is a mental disorder. And Josh is the cure.
Welcome back to the program. A little bit later on in the program, we're going to be joined by Wayne Allen Root. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. We're going to talk about the attacks against him, the protests, everything. But before we get to him, I also want to talk a little bit about that as well. If Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was, "Thou shalt not talk ill of another Republican," then the 12th commandment should be, "Thou shalt not side against the Republican nominee, leading nominee, with Democrats, socialists, collectivists, progressives, communists, Communist Party USA, Bill Ayers, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Comrade Sanders, Black Lives Matter, militant leftists, all of those people." Because you know what? The irrelevance here is the fact that Donald Trump's freedom of speech has been squashed and squandered by these people. These totalitarians is what I will call them. And the 12th commandment has got to be not to side with these types of people, okay? Now, whether what happened in Chicago you agree with or not, you have to understand that an American businessman's right to freedom of speech and the people that support him was taken from him by the intolerant left. Now, the left likes to run around and talk about how tolerant they are, how they believe in freedom of speech and freedom of expression and all these wonderful, unicorn things, right? But they only believe in free speech that they believe in. If it's anything other than what they believe in, you can't say it. So they are hypocrites, to say the least, okay? Now, these folks that disrupted the protesters that disrupted in Chicago, Donald Trump, these folks are so drunk on government handouts, on EBT cards, on free cell phones, on free this and free that and free health care, that they do not want those things to be taken. They don't want someone to go into the Oval Office, straighten things out, and force them to get off their lazy asses and go get a job. See, they can't get a job now because Barack Obama has created the environment to make sure that they can't get a job. Why? Because he wants them dependent on government so that he can control them. But these people are so stupid that they don't understand that what Donald Trump wants to do is to help them, their communities, their families, their neighborhoods, by creating jobs. But no, you'd rather sit home and play PlayStation and talk on your government-funded telephones and eat Cheetos with your EBT card than go out there and get a job. That's the reality of this situation. Now, the anti-Trump forces are extremely strong. He's getting hit from every single angle, from Black Lives Matter to the Communist Party USA to MoveOn.org to the establishment rhinos to George Soros to the global elites to China to Japan to Russia to Mexico to Canada to Europe. Everybody is attacking Donald Trump. Why? Because he can't be bought and because he is the only one that understands what the American people want. We're tired of the BS. We're tired of the garbage. And finally, we have someone who is certainly not perfect by any stretch, and certainly not a full-blown conservative by any stretch. But we have someone that is saying what needs to be said and plans on implementing what needs to be done. Now, whether he does that or not, I don't know. But I can tell you this, if he does win and he goes to the left, you'll have people like me out there that'll be pushing him to the right and will be chastising him, ridiculing him, and shaming him for going against what he said that he would pledge to do. Now, let's talk about Kasich real quick. Donald Trump won, basically, I would say 5 out of 5 states. Okay, if you believe that John Kasich won Ohio, then I have oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona with an ocean view. Okay, we already know that Marco Rubio has dropped out. We already know that Marco Rubio decided last Thursday that he was going to drop out. So what did he do? He conceded defeat in Ohio by telling his supporters to what? Support John Kasich over Donald Trump to try to deny him the 66 delegates. That was one part of it. Not to mention the voter fraud that I'm sure was part of it as well. The crossover, the Democrats voting to try to block Donald Trump as well. There's no way, okay, with 25, 30, 35, 40,000 people at all those rallies in Ohio, and you mean to tell me a couple of hundred show up to some town halls to listen to Soros-funded John Kasich, and all of a sudden he wins by 10 points in Ohio? Yeah, give me a break. So if Donald Trump was smart, he'd do some investigation into that state and the final numbers. But anyway, he won 4 out of the states anyway. He picked up a ton of delegates. He wiped out Marco Rubio completely from the race and all of Florida. And when you think about all of this that has happened, he has the momentum. He has the delegates, as I mentioned earlier in the first segment. And what you have to understand is that Kasich is not going anywhere. Ted Cruz is not going anywhere. And again, the reason is very simple. Because once those other states that are more liberal or moderate, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, California, he's not going to compete for delegates in any of those states. What are you, nuts? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Donald Trump is not a true conservative, so there's going to be a lot of moderates and independents and Democrats that are going to vote for him. It's as simple as that. I want to win, so I'm going to support whoever the nominee is, and at this point, like I said before, you can bank on it. It's going to be Donald Trump. Now, the most nasty and horrific treatment of Donald Trump has been from every single angle. You've got, again, the Chinese came out with the Global Times article talking and warning Donald Trump supporters for supporting him. Well, I got news for you, Global Times of China. Butt out. We're going to vote for who we want to vote for, and you're not going to tell us here in America who we should support. Now, we all know that the globalists and the elites around the world, they want Hillary Clinton. Why? Because they've given hundreds and millions and billions of dollars to her money laundering operation masquerading as a foundation, the Clinton Foundation. So they need to get what? Payback. That's why. That's why they're supporting him. Then you've got the weasel in Canada, Trudeau, who hates Donald Trump. You've got the morons at the British Parliament mocking Donald Trump. They actually spent a whole day saying that they wanted to ban Donald Trump from even going into England. It's just ridiculous. You got Obama, who is the head of the snake here without a doubt. He's the one that said about a month and a half ago, Donald Trump will never be president. Well, that's a veiled threat, if you ask me. And what did he mean by that? Well, he probably means that he's going to enact all of his minions, all of his soldiers, to go out there and do what he's been doing, disrupting every single one of Donald Trump's events. Now, did Donald Trump have any guilt in this? Not really. I mean, he joked around and said that he'd pay the legal fees if they go out there and and throw these protesters out, strong arm them, get out of there. Look, yeah, he did say that. He's guilty of that. But the bottom line is all of these people, all of these factions are coming against him. Now, I want to bring up something else that a lot of people don't know. Did you all know that there was a Craigslist ad a couple of days ago that came out in Austin, Texas, and in Chicago? A Craigslist ad asking to hire people to do all kinds of mischief and everything else. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. I don't know if you can see it, but it's from Austin, Texas, and Chicago, Illinois. The thought of humiliating Donald Trump on an international stage appeals to you, if it does. And being part of the anonymous team of talented and creative anti-Trump enthusiasts who perpetrate the in no way violent or injurious, which we know that's not true, stunt that, if properly executed, will fulfill the goal, and most importantly, in addition to all of that, you are very well versed in Photoshop, After Effects, any 3D modeling tools, Hotmail, web design, copywriting, or any combination thereof. I would love to hear from you sooner than later. Craigslist post ID 538-337-682. Now, I tried to pull up the ad. Obviously, it's already been taken down. That is a Craigslist ad from the far left, purposely making sure that people were going to disrupt Donald Trump. But you know what? It goes even further. And that's why I say the Josh Bernstein Show starts where the rest of the media ends. Because who's behind the Craigslist ad? A company called Grassroots Campaigns Incorporated, founded in December of 2013, involved in many, many lawsuits. They have lawsuits of people that worked for them that never got paid. They've got other lawsuits for discrimination. They are run by a bunch of young, radical, left-wing college kids. And here are the affiliations, okay? I told you I was going to name names. I'm naming names. Here's the affiliations of this Grassroots Campaigns Incorporated. The American Civil Liberties Union, or the Antichrist Liberal Union, as I like to call them. Amnesty International, the Center for American Progress, the Colorado State Democratic Party, Common Cause, the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Committee, the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, Doctors Without Borders, which is a left-wing radical open borders group, Equality California, gay marriage, Equality Maine, Every Town for Gun Safety, there's your Bloomberg gun grabbers, Freedom to Marry, another left-wing organization, Media Matters, MoveOn.org, the Nevada State Democratic Party, Obama for America, People for the American Way, Planned Parenthood of New York City, Sierra Club, and of course the communists at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Those are just some of Grassroots Campaigns Incorporated and the people that are behind the scenes that are trying to demolish Donald Trump. You're not going to hear that anywhere else. I'll be right back with Wayne Allen Root.
You're tuning into the Josh Bernstein Show, where Josh covers the news the way the liberal media would not dare.
Hey, Josh Bernstein here. If you like that segment, please tune in to the full show at starworldwidenetworks.com. Again, starworldwidenetworks.com. Look for the Josh Bernstein Show, or you can also find me on YouTube. I appreciate you guys watching.